Hello and welcome to the 2017 Vibram Open. We've got round one coverage here from Jomez Productions. BigSexy is back in the booth. It's me, Nate Sexton, and my buddy Jeremy Koling.
Yeah, this is an honor for me. There's no place more special to me than these hallowed grounds here at Maple Hill, and to do commentary for one of the tournaments I've been looking forward to playing every single year. It's just an honor to be here. So
yeah, this is a special course, a private land, beautiful, so many lakes, hills, trees. It's all these rock walls, really picturesque place to play.
Yeah, this is my favorite course in the country still. I think it's just because of the nostalgic effect it has on me every time I step up to hole one. One of the most iconic starting holes in the game, and they decided to change it this year. They brought the basket back another 70 to 80 feet.
Yeah, 835 feet, big downhill crush over the pond, which is no small feat. Getting over this pond is probably high 400s.
Yeah, he's gonna...
Simon's going huge here, but it's turning way too much right to have a good angle. He wasn't happy with that. There was a lot of headwind on this hole.
We had a head crosswind from left to right, which at times was ripping, and it made it very difficult to get this drive that you'd like. The preferable landing zone is somewhere off to the left of the pond, but you want to get like 550 to 600 feet if you can.
Yeah, this is probably doing more of that 450, maybe 500 with the downhill. It wasn't a bad shot, but a little bit. I would love to land it right on that gravel road.
Yeah, the only way to really get the good shot at the birdie there is if you don't have those Christmas trees in the way. You have already so many things to contend with for your second shot. There's the Christmas trees are just kind of random where they are, so that's a really great shot there from Josh. He's going to have a look at attacking the green. Yeah,
he didn't get a whole ton of distance, but he's lined up in the short grass. Speaking of a whole ton of distance, James is a guy that really does have elite power.
Yeah, he's top 1% in the tour in terms of distance, and probably top 3 hottest players on tour coming into this tournament.
I would agree with that. Big crush, moved a little left. He's going to be contending with Christmas trees as well. This hole, Jerem the stats man informed me this hole actually produced 0 birdies for the day.
Well, I don't quite know yet until you guys finish the hole, but it was the hardest. It was one of the hardest holes on the course. I think it may have been the number 1 hardest hole.
That's a good call. That was sort of a rookie move by me, spoiling our coverage here. I just kind of felt it was so obvious we weren't going to birdie it.
Right. Well, I mean, the hole itself the year before already averaged over par. I think 2016 cumulative score on the hole was like 4.14, so he was already playing over par at the short position. And I think James is playing a safe shot there.
He is.
Playing to the mouth there. And that's a smart thing. I mean, this is the first hole of the tournament.
Yep.
The very last thing you want to do is get aggressive here and put yourself in a bad spot and come out with a double bogey on the starting hole.
Yeah, and in our group, Josh was the only one to really even make a half-hearted attempt at going for the green, and his disc turned over right out of his hand in that wind and bounced down. So my apologies. I just remember being on this card and thinking no one is in any kind of position to birdie, but I suppose that's not entirely obvious to the viewer at home.
I played with Ricky yesterday. He had a circle 4. He went out of bounds by the green. I mean, and I imagine that there will be plenty of birdies throughout the weekend on this hole.
Well, plenty might be a strong word, but some.
I predict at least 10 for the weekend. I mean, we have a pretty big field here. And so, obviously, this is the Vibram Open. We have the best players in New England and around the world here playing at this event.
So this is Simon for a birdie.
And a great
Simon
run.
Puts a bid on it from probably 90 feet, 100 feet. Josh had a terrible spot here.
Oh, man.
He's just entirely over OB. He's just got to split it through, and he actually did a great job of it. That's a super high-risk shot because if he clips anything, it can turn into a huge number.
Yeah, that's a scary shot, and that's a risky play there. Let's see if he can get away with that. Oh, and he misses the putt. That's pretty uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah, it was really surprising. So he's going to have to settle with a bogey 5. This is me for my par.
Yeah, that's a good par there. It seemed like the majority of the field took their medicine coming into this green because 52% of the field actually parred the hole.
Yeah.
Playing it smart, knowing that if they weren't in position, the best play is just to that mouth.
Yep.
Maybe give it a long jump putt range like Simon did and give himself a look at a birdie, but in the end, taking par on this hole
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing as a birdie because, I mean, you're not losing strokes to anyone in the field.
Yeah, apparently not. I mean, with the wind we were dealing with, I think it's just so hard to get enough distance to really stand there and think, oh, this is a nice, smart shot into the green.
Yeah. I mean, and as much credit as I want to give the field for playing it smart, there was also a 5 over, there was a 9 on the hole, there was an 8 on the hole, there was 5 triple bogeys. So pretty daunting first hole of the tournament.
Look at that smile from Josh.
Oh, man. What's he thinking about?
He got a bogey, but he's still feeling fine. Hole 2 is a straightaway shot. You got the rock wall OB on the right, 350 feet. There's a kind of this ditch here in the bottom. The play is either like a kind of like an overstable, maybe fairway driver thrown maybe on a slight anhyzer to kind of stay safe away from the wall. I'm guessing this is a PD from Simon.
Yeah, Simon loves these PDs, and that's, if I were to throw Discmania on this shot, I would be throwing a PD because I agree. You want to throw just a slight anhyzer that I think that best suits the gap here.
That got through actually pretty nicely, so he's not in that jail. He'll have probably 50 to 60 feet. I actually throw a roller here. I know there's a ditch in the way. I don't really care. I just try to get lucky and bounce over it.
Yeah, that's a lot of players do that.
That roller landed right on a rock, though.
And there's 2 mistakes you can make on this hole. Throwing a roller that hits a rock.
Yep.
And finishing behind this bunker here. And obviously you have the OB wall on the right. And that, when you're trying to throw an anhyzer shot into this green to flatten out, that OB wall comes into play pretty regularly. And this is a T-bird here from James Conrad. This is something he's been loving throwing in the woods.
And this was a pretty much perfect shot.
Oh,
he
yeah.
just painted the corner on that outside, stayed well away from the out of bounds the whole way, and put himself up in the circle. And Josh, being the player that he is, after a disappointing putt, he's going to follow it up with just a little tap and birdie.
Yeah, that's ideal. He feels pretty comfortable with his high-speed discs, and he's so much control over angles. He's truly a fun player to watch because he makes shots like that. Look, I mean, he wasn't even close to left side, right down the middle the whole way.
Yeah, perfect. I was trying to get the crowd fired up and make this.
Oh, look at this. Ooh, that was the right height. That was a great bid.
Pretty close. I was pretty happy with the shot.
This is definitely inside Simon's range, just inside circle 2.
Just outside. Decent bid.
And James connects with a great birdie there.
Yeah, that is really nice.
Mm-hmm. That's a birdie that's it's right there in front of you. I mean, it's right up the hill. It says it's 350. I say it plays closer to like 390 almost in the way that it's one of the longest 350s you'll ever play.
Yes.
But, I mean, considering it's right there in front of you, it really does feel really good to pick up the birdie on this hole.
Yeah, early in the round. I mean, I still classify it as a borderline kind of bonus birdie.
Yeah, it's strange because it's one of the few that's right there in front of you. I mean, there's not that many out here that are that easy to get, but still feel like a bonus.
Yeah, but just all that out of bounds, it's tough. Hole 3 has been lengthened since last year. If you're familiar with the course, it is now playing 410 feet through the woods. You want to talk about a bonus birdie, here you go. This one even more so than the last. Not really OB to worry about unless you really, really shank the drive. You actually do have to clear the rock wall to be inbounds.
Correct.
But this is just, you have to absolutely pipe it with good power. So James is going on the same T-bird, and pipe it he does.
Oh, my.
And this thing is just crushing, but it took a little bit of a bad bounce, but not that bad.
He would have been long.
He was going to go past it. He crushed it.
That's committing to a gap. That is just 100% full commitment to a shot. And that T-bird hugs that fairway line. Absolutely perfect.
I love it when a guy, like seeing a guy just rip a shot through a tunnel, and it's just like it was in the open. It's just the confidence and the smoothness that he put that on was really cool.
That is a skill I have not yet mastered.
Simon, a little heavy on the turnover.
There's a couple of ways to leak through that early side. As long as you're throwing something pretty overstable with good angle, inside those trees isn't so bad because you still have a good bit of fairway off to the right where it can come back and hyzer up the hill. Yeah,
I'm going T-bird 3 here. I kind of weak it, but it doesn't hit anything. So
what?
It's pretty sweet.
Oh, wow. It's way up there. That's a great.
Very lucky.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you're talking about bonus birdie. This is, for me, I don't even play it for a par. So if I did get a birdie, it would be extra bonus.
You don't play it for a par?
I don't play it for birdie, excuse me.
Okay.
I play this one for par. I'm going sidearm off the tee because I know I can hit the gap much easier.
Okay, I thought about it.
And it's just the shot that it takes to get to the green is such a exact line, and it takes a ton of confidence like you saw James throw there.
That was a beautiful shot from Simon to escape from that rough.
And Simon and Josh are some of the best gap hitters through the woods that we have. And, I mean, they weren't really that close to hitting the line either.
No, they weren't.
And look at this. That was a great bid there from about, 75?
Something like that, yeah. Here's James with a chance at another birdie.
And that right there just shows how difficult this hole is. I mean, I can't even really draw up a prettier flight line than his shot.
Good.
And he still didn't even get his birdie. I mean, he ended up outside the circle. And quality putt there from Josh. That's what we expect from him.
Yeah, he made that, and he said something about, after that putt on the first hole, I was feeling nervous, but here we go. My caddy said something about, I can't believe Josh missed. And I said, it's the only one he's going to miss.
Yeah, probably. And James connects on his par putt. That's nice. This hole, the previous year, was averaging just above par, which makes sense because it was a pretty tough hole before.
Yes.
But just through round one, it's already averaging a third of a stroke over par.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, there's so many trees.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most of the course averages, each hole is going to average just above par or right at par. There aren't going to be that many holes at Maple Hill that average below par in any way.
It's not a cupcake course, I'll say that.
No, only 15 twos during round one.
Okay. So all threes across the board there for the group. I think we were, all but James, were pretty excited to get our threes because our drives weren't that great.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 4, straight downhill. You got the OB water, but nicely we do have the Keen wall there to slow down those shots that are going a little long. 250 feet. There's a couple options. Most people are going to go straight up the middle, but there's also sort of like an Anheuser forehand out around you see people do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one is just about hitting short of the basket, taking your skip, and just trying to slide it up. If you're chain high near the basket, you're probably going to be finding water.
That was a pretty aggressive height there from James. I mean, not that we'll ever know, but I mean, if that had got clean through it, I would be surprised to see him not go in the water.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that Anheuser line from Josh. He's really good at these touchy forehand lines.
He really is.
And that's, yeah, I mean, I've practiced that shot dozens of times. I've never had that result before. That's a fantastic shot.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I like throwing forehands, but I don't like that particular forehand very much.
And this is a 250-foot jump putt.
He barely even jumped too.
That's crazy. That's just like James last week.
Yeah.
But if James had done it, he probably would have hit metal.
He probably would have hit the basket. Kale LaVisca actually did ace this hole.
Yeah, he did. He skipped right up into it. It was a beautiful shot. That's online. There's a video of it. You can check it out.
Yeah. I'm going our pro dart here. It's drifting a little bit.
But there's a lot of trees on that
nice little
side.
reaction.
Yeah.
Back into the circle.
Mm-hmm.
James, you never know. He might be kind of running this.
Yeah, no kidding.
He kind of was.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
That doesn't really look like a layup to me.
Pretty amazing to think about making that shot. But his putter has been absolutely on fire.
Yeah,
so.
supreme confidence is just such a big bonus here.
Simon just left. Had a chance there for the birdie, but gonna have to settle. I'm just a meter closer than him.
And you don't make the same mistake. Good putt there.
Thank you. Happy to get it.
And this hole didn't play overly difficult. It never really does, but it's daunting on the tee pad. I mean, just such a tight gap.
Very tight.
And you hit one of those early trees, 4-5 comes right into play. And also, if you throw a good shot, but you don't get the height right, I mean, the addition of the Keen wall is huge. But I still have seen plenty of shots skip way higher than that Keen wall and go way out in the water.
Easily.
So there's a lot of things to contend with here, and that's a good putt there from James.
Yeah, he saves his par. And Simon will take sort of a disappointing par here after making a pretty good drive.
Yeah, I mean...
He putted 3 times on that hole. It was kind of a 3-putt.
Yeah.
Tee shot was just a putt.
3-putt. It can be a disappointing 3-putt.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. You got it inside the circle from 250.
5, par 3, 285 feet. The main gap is shooting out over the water with a backhand turnover or a forehand. There is an inside gap if you want to play safe, but it really doesn't have that good of a shot of reaching the pin. Got the elevated pin this year just to make those putts that much harder.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that this hole came in so difficult during round 1 because it is one of the easiest holes. In fact, it was the third easiest hole in 2016. But that little addition of that elevated basket, maybe that changed enough about it, and maybe the windy nature of the day was causing people some anxiety on their putts. But
we had a bit of a tailwind here, and I put this Firebird up high in the air, and then it fell down like it was a stone.
Was not having that.
Oh
It
no!
It didn't move to the right at all.
Wow!
Just the tailwind. I'm gonna have to throw a flippier disc because that tailwind just caught up with it, and it just fell straight down.
Yeah, and James is going with his reliable JK AVR here, something he's been throwing so well in the woods.
Good safe play.
And that's going to be a scary putt, though.
It will.
He's probably going to have to straddle one side or the other. He's circle's edge, putting an elevated basket with water behind. There's a lot of things going on.
I'll tell you he won't lay up.
Okay, yeah, probably not.
Simon going turnover, but it's a little low.
Oh, and Simon.
And he's OB with me.
And that's surprising to see. We had 2 successful turnover putter shots in a row, and Simon did not read from that line. And this is kind of a little scary touch shot itself. That's a really nice shot from the drop zone.
Yeah, I went with the mortar there. It kind of dropped on me, and it scared me that it might hit the wall, but it did get over, and that's all I really needed.
That wall catches so many shots, and that's why this hole played a bit harder yesterday. I mean, you still have a ton of birdies on it, but there's a good number of triple bogeys. There was 3 triple bogeys, 8 double bogeys. I mean, you can get into trouble in a hurry on this one.
Oh, yeah, and hitting that wall from the drop zone is not that weird. I mean, you could easily see a double OB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a bummer there from James, but he was in bounds off the tee, and a par is not necessarily a bad hole in any hole, a score in any hole in Maple Hill.
Yeah. Simon in for bogey. Here I am lining up a bogey putt as well.
And thank you to Tempercraft for sponsoring the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Absolutely.
Get to look at these big, beautiful advertising razors.
And now Josh with the killer drive.
Yeah, a little tree love there, too, to slide back down the hill. Great birdie from Josh.
Easy birdie.
And if that was an easy birdie, this next one is anything but.
I think it's... I mean, what's the handicap? I feel like hole 6 is up there in the top 3 hardest holes.
It is the hardest
okay,
hole on
good.
the course.
Pittsburgh, I was off on those guesses, but this one I was a little closer. This is such a difficult hole. 375 feet downhill. OB rock wall the entire way on the right. You tick one tree, you go out of bounds. And then to boot, at the end, you got this big island of trees. It really isn't a great line just to pin the thing.
Yeah.
So just super, super difficult hole. Josh a little off to the right, and he takes a big kick down the hill.
I mean, at that point, that's almost 5 territory right from the get-go. You can get a 4, but 3 is out of the equation.
Yes. James pipes a rock.
That just stays turned over. That is perfect.
A little bit of a nasty
Get out of the way
kick,
there, Mike.
But he'll be all right.
Mike just narrowly avoids that. Good.
Spoiler alert, one of the luckiest shots I've ever thrown.
Oh, goodness.
Misses the gap.
Oh,
misses
goodness.
The gap. Misses the gap.
Oh,
Misses
goodness.
The gap,
What?
Misses the gap. No problem.
Where are you?
Like 35, no putt. But I was never on the fairway. So I don't know how that happened.
I'm just not really happy to see that because I threw such a great shot and I kicked into the nether regions of the world.
It was crazy. I really hope I don't have to count on doing that again. I need to hit the gap.
And that is
Simon piped it.
Wow, what oh my gosh, the skip was incredible. He is inside 15 feet.
He's so close. It was one of the best shots I've ever seen on the hole.
And I think that is the play for anyone who has that shot to throw the sidearm down the back gap.
Yes.
That is the way to play the hole. And Simon threw a perfect forehand, showing off the range of skills that he has.
Josh pitched up, and now he's looking for a turnover.
Oh.
But that was heading straight out of bounds, but that second tree has saved him, so at least there's that. At least now he's still putting for single bogey.
That would have been at double or triple bogey range, and that's why this hole is so difficult. I mean, hole 1, we had 0 birdies. This hole at least had 9 birdies.
Okay.
but it had 2 5-over 8s,
Wow.
2 quadruple bogeys, 8 triple bogeys, 26 double bogeys, and 42 bogeys.
Wow.
Yeah, only 38% of the field even parred the hole.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this hole's always just so scary. You just please keep it in the middle the whole way. You're thinking, and even when you get down towards the end, there's still OB right there on the left and up by the green on the right. So I mean, there's just so many places you can get in trouble on this hole.
Josh ends up with a double bogey. Simon with the incredible birdie, and I think it's a testament to how hard this hole is. That I'm like, if you could tell me I could rip it down there and go OB 40 feet from the basket, I might be like, all right. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of holes where you're like kind of okay with like, give me a 40-footer for par.
Sure.
And just get me out of here.
Yeah. And it only gets slightly easier on hole 7.
Yeah, I would almost say hole 7 is almost harder to park it, but there's no OB, so you're not gonna see the huge numbers.
Yeah, well, we actually saw less birdies on hole 7 than we saw on 6.
Yeah, see, but I'm on my prediction game.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good this time. This week is much better than last week, but you're not going to see the huge numbers like you'd see on 6. There's no really OB danger at all to speak of unless you somehow kicked 300 feet left.
Yeah.
But yeah, to park the hole, it takes an incredible effort. And just to even get a putt like this, I mean, having something inside 50 feet, he's
fantastic.
45 feet there for Simon. That is a huge shot right there.
Yes.
And they actually, the grounds crew took down one tree, and you see where the tree is gone because you can see the basket now. There was one tree in the middle all the way up at the top of that hill that was right in the way between the tee pad and the basket.
Could have fooled me. It seemed to me like they planted about 15 more trees.
Yeah, they may have planted some more secretly, but there's definitely that one gone now. And that's not an uncommon play to see, bailing out to the right, just, again, taking your medicine,
Yes.
trying to avoid the big number on this one.
That's kind of my play. It's such a tough 2 that I just kind of give up and try to throw it up to the right. That particular shot really wasn't very good for me, but Josh throws a pretty nice shot there.
And this would actually set up pretty well for a forehand roller if it wasn't a gravel road all the way up to the pin.
Gravel road. Yeah.
Right, just so unpredictable.
James with a putter. Very nicely done.
Yeah, he's going to be... That wall right there that he's behind is not that far from the basket. He'll probably be within 20 feet for his par. And what are you throwing here?
This is a forehand roller, which I like to sometimes call the hardest working shot in disc golf because it's not going to... that I had no gap there. I just threw it hard at the biggest little the 3-foot window I could see, and it worked. That was fantastic. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. To jump up over there and go in the rough again, but at least to have a putt.
Yeah, you're inside 35 feet.
Yeah,
just
maybe.
Yeah,
35, 40 feet, somewhere in there. Simon for the birdie.
Oh.
Could you imagine? Greg Barsby did get the back-to-back. He actually turkeyed 5, 6, 7 yesterday.
5, 6, and 7. That's gaining 3 strokes on the field, I feel like. On the average player on the field, 2 to 3 strokes.
Yeah. I was so happy there to save par from that position.
Great par save.
Definitely felt good because I was thinking bogey was in my future when I saw my lie off the drive.
There's so many times on this course where you walk off the hole with a par feeling just as good as you would on any other course with a birdie.
Yeah, that's one of them right there. I felt like a hero after I saved a 3.
Yeah.
Simon with a different feeling about his 3 because his drive was so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to get one to stay inside the circle it requires, I don't even know if the perfect shot would do it, but it's like almost unfathomable to imagine that you would stay in the circle.
So difficult.
You're gonna have to make a putt from outside the circle on 7.
Hole 8, par 3, over the water all day, 320 feet. It's a beautiful little shot. You just have to make sure you throw it high enough to clear the rocks, and then you've got the OB wall behind. So if you absolutely try to get super safe with it and crush it, you're gonna go OB long.
Yeah, and this one is one of those holes that's right in front of you. You just feel like I have to pick up the birdie here. This is such an important place in the round. The front nine has so many difficult. Oh my God! I thought it was an ace run.
Short from Simon by inches.
Yeah, I mean, and after gumming off of 6 and 7,
Yeah.
you're thinking, all right, this is when you gotta start picking up your birdies right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it just again shows you how tough of a course Maple Hill is, where, this would probably be one of the harder holes on most courses in America.
Yeah, sure.
And you get here at Maple Hill and you're like, finally.
Yeah, finally not the hardest hole.
I can just throw over water the whole way.
Right.
There's no trees. I'm going Firebird here, just trying to put some good juice on it so that it definitely clear the water.
Yeah, and the forehand brings those little trees right there, that little pairing of trees, into play just a bit. But I think that's a good play for the. I feel like you're gonna hit those trees so randomly. So seldomly that.
And even when you do, you have a pretty good chance of still being in bounds.
Correct.
Simon kind of giving this a bid.
He needs to sit down. That's a Simon that we like to see, but also can get him in trouble sometimes if he's not quite on his game. And we've kind of seen that so far this round. He's not quite Simon-like so far.
A couple highlight plays, but a few uncharacteristic mistakes as well.
This course, it really demands you to do a very specific thing almost on every single hole.
And Simon really put himself in a tricky spot here.
Oh man, a double bogey. That's a bummer. That's a round stopper right there.
Yeah, really tough. He got behind those little things. He had to kneel down, take his full 30 centimeters back, trying to make a tricky little putt. Mm-hmm. Pretty unfortunate that his first bid at the par slid back there.
Yeah, and it was, from the drop zone, it's such a difficult shot. You don't have a straight look at the basket.
Yeah.
If you're a right-handed player, you're going to be hyzering towards the water. It's a scary play to run for par. You almost have to just give up and take your medicine and take your bogey there.
I would probably lay it out.
And that's not the kind of person that Simon is, and that's what's going to get him in trouble if he doesn't change that around a little bit going into the back nine.
But when he's on, so that he can get away with it. But, it is tricky, just like Germ's saying. Hole 9 here, par 3, kind of a head scratcher at par 3.
Yeah.
420 feet, but it's so sharply uphill, up and over this hill, through trees. Then you've got the OB ditch. Brand new wall, looks fantastic. They just built that just before the tournament, I'm told. Mm-hmm. James is going to go with the turnover rock shot here.
And this is tied with hole 6 as the hardest to par hole in the course.
Yeah.
And that's because it's just mislabeled as a par 3. It's always been called a par 3 since day one.
Yep.
And it's just not a par 3.
No, it isn't.
In any way. It's a par 4.
0, 0. I guess I shouldn't say, but
there's no twos.
We'll see. Maybe there's going to be some twos. Who knows? Let's keep the suspense just.
There's not going to be any twos. I'm going to ruin the suspense. There's no twos in this hole. It's a par 4. There was a couple last year because people threw them in.
Yep.
Which means it's a par 4.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's no point in really getting upset about it because it's a difficult, fun
hole. You still got
hole.
to play the hole. I like playing the hole for sure.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. It's a fair hole. You have to throw a nice shot, like Josh does there, and just try to turn it over down that hill. And I'm interested to see what Simon goes with here. There's a couple different aggressive routes.
Yeah, he's got a mid-range in his hand, so he's not trying to make the green, thankfully, because I think that is a pretty foolish play to try to go all the way across that water.
And he squirts out of there. That's a weird word. Hey, he gets out of there.
Squirted?
Yeah, sure. It's whatever you want to say. It nestled through, which is a huge break because those woods on the right are very treacherous.
Such a pretty green now. That shot there behind Josh just go down. It's still a little bit scary though. You got to clear that wall, and then there's OB right as well. Yeah,
huge shout out to Dave Jackson and all the other people that help him out here on this course. They just do a phenomenal job getting this course ready for one of the biggest tournaments. And this addition to the wall here is so beautiful. You stand at the bottom of this hill, you look up the hill, you look down the hill, behind it, around you by the water, and it's just like you're just amazed at the beauty of this course.
Yep.
And this played at 3.986. Just under 4.
Yeah.
Under a full stroke over par.
Yeah, average a bogey.
Yeah.
From the best players on the planet. My 3-putt thankfully finds the chains.
I'm going to call that a party.
Thank you.
Half par, half birdie.
3 there for Josh. Card is looking good here to set up for a par frame.
Yeah, star par.
And we're all in for 3.
And that's going to do it for the front 9. We have 2 under for James, 1 under for Josh, and 8. And Simon's struggling a little bit at 2 over par.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow start for him, but we've got the back 9 coming up. There are some holes where he can really open up. As we see the casualties of the water here at Maple Hill, Luckily, they have the divers out there. But anyway, thank you to Jomez. Thank you to Germ for joining me. Please join us for the back nine. See if AJ's still dancing by the end of the day.
I'm sure he will be. And thanks to Innova, Overstable Studios, and anyone else that we didn't mention. Dave Clancy for helping us out with the stats again. Looking forward to bringing you the back nine and the rest of the week coverage from the 2017 Vibram Open.